Hi there, good day everybody. Welcome to my presentation. My name is Amalin S. Lestari and I'm the narrator at this opportunity. The topic of my presentation is HIV disease. So, why am I telling you this information? Well, the goals of my presentation are to spread awareness of this infectious disease and to persuade you to be more protected in healthcare. 3. First, I'm going to explain to you about HIV disease and why it's important to know about HIV. Finally, you will be responsible for your own health and sexual health. What is the health challenge highlighted in your case study? The human immunodeficiency virus or HIV targets the immune system and weakens people's defense against many infections and some types of cancer that people's healthy immune systems can fight off. The human immunodeficiency virus or HIV targets the immune system and weakens people's defense against many infections and some types of cancer that people with healthy immune systems can fight off. As the virus destroys and impairs the function of immune cells, infected individuals gradually become immunodeficient. As the virus destroys and impairs the function of immune cells, infected individuals gradually become immunodeficient. The lack of access to effective drugs in developing countries is part of a greater HIV or AIDS public health crisis. The epidemic has killed 16 million people in less than 20 years, and 33.6 million people are currently infected worldwide. 95% of people with HIV live in poor countries, and the vast majority do not have access to the most basic health care. Secondly, where is this happening? According to RINJ Regional Coordinator Sharon Santiago, among the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and two-spirit communities or LGBTQ2 in the various countries, and in a country which many people living with HIV or at risk for HIV infection do not have access to prevention, treatment, and care, such as Africa, followed by Asia and the Pacific, the Caribbean, as well as Eastern Europe, and Central Asia also heavily affected. Thirdly, when does this occur as percent? The HIV timeline reflects the history of the domestic HIV or AIDS epidemic from the first reported cases in 1981 to the present. Then, takes an object. Whom does it affect? Why or how? If a person living with blood transfusion of contaminated HIV or AIDS blood, sharing of needles, syringes, other injecting equipment, surgical equipment, or other shaped instruments, and from a mother living with HIV to her infant during pregnancy, childbirth, or breastfeeding. Causes of the health challenge in some populations are at higher risk of HIV infection, including transgender, lesbian, gay, bisexual, in some populations are at higher risk of HIV infection, including the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and two-spirit communities or LGBT, people who inject drugs, people in prisons or other closed setting, and sex workers and their clients. Next, to find out what are the solutions applied to the health challenge. Changing environmental conditions to eliminate the spread of the disease. The most widely known strategies for prevention of HIV transmission through the sexual route are often known as abstinence. Changing environmental conditions to eliminate the spread of the disease. The most widely known strategies for prevention of HIV transmission through the sexual routine are often known as abstinence, which means refraining from premarital sexual intercourse. Be faithful, which means maintaining faithful relationship with a long-term partner. I'd like to remind you that there's no vaccine to prevent HIV infection and no cure for AIDS. But you can protect yourself and others from infection by get tested for HIV as soon as possible to know your status. According to CDC or Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the earlier HIV is diagnosed and treated, the more effectively HIV medicine will prevent transmission to your baby. Next, let's move to the second part. What kinds of information have been critical in solving the health challenge? A good search of information about sexual health is the Take Control. It offers condoms, HIV and STD or sexually transmitted disease information, help build communication skill with promote positive sexual health to teens and young adults, and awareness and prevention of HIV. Along with all the reasons I've been stated in my arguments, it is clear that unprotected sex, sharing drugs with someone who has HIV is dangerous to all aspects in our lives. And next, I'm going to share how does the solutions address the health challenge. According to Center for Disease Control and Prevention, you can use strategies such as abstinence or not having sex, never sharing needless, and using condoms the right way every time you have sex. You may also be able to take advantage of HIV prevention medicines such as pre-exposure prophylaxis and post-exposure prophylaxis. Who is involved in solving or addressing the health challenge? Finding a healthcare team that is knowledgeable about HIV care is an important step in managing your care and treatment. If you are able to choose your provider, you should look for someone who has a great deal of experience treating HIV. This matters because the more HIV experience your provider has, the more familiar he or she will be with the full range of treatment options that exist today. According HIV GOV Care, primary HIV healthcare provider may be a doctor of medicine or doctor of osteopathic medicine, nurse practitioner, or a physician assistant. Some women may prefer to see an OB/GYN provider who has expertise in HIV or AIDS. For the last section, I want to share my opinion. My concern: if one or both partners is HIV positive, and then there's maintaining. My concern: if one or both partners is HIV positive, and then there's maintaining faithful relationship will be sufficient to prevent spread of HIV. You can protect yourself and others from infection by get tests for HIV as soon as possible to know your status. And according to Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the earlier HIV is diagnosed and treated, the more effectively HIV medicine will prevent transmission to your baby. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I want to share with you. In the end, there's nothing more important than our good health. That's our principal capital asset. Quotes by Arlene Spectre. Thank you for watching.